Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 9 of our F124 Salvaging Sauber career mode. Yes, we return this weekend ready for our first sprint actually of the series here in the Styrian Mountains for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Barcelona, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. It was quite a fun one. We had a lot of fun. We had a pretty good race actually in the end. Things worked out beautifully for us. And we bagged our second 9th place finish in the last 3 GP there. It moves us up into P11 in the driver's table right now. Max Verstappen still leading the way, 66 points clear of Carlos Sainz there. Ferrari just 3 back though from Red Bull in the constructors, and well, we've jumped up into P6 as well, which is pretty much sensibly as good as we're going to be able to do in that championship this season. I'm hoping in the driver's table we're going to be able to try and fight with Lance Stroll as the championship progresses, but yeah, only time will tell. We're trying to get a lot of upgrades on the car at the moment, but a lot of them annoyingly keep failing as well, which is making life a little bit more difficult. We are ahead of Alpine though in theoretical performance, and we're right next to Williams as well, so hopefully we can jump Haas and VCarb in the not too distant future. Get yourselves subscribed as well if you're new around here. We're trying to hit 7,000 subs on the channel at the moment. A massive thank you to everybody for the support recently that has been shown. But yeah, 2 opportunities this weekend to try and score some points. So hopefully we can get a top 10.
Hello everyone, welcome to Austria. It is a short track, it is high speed, it is exactly what we enjoy for qualifying.
Well, this is going to be a horrible, horrible weekend of changeable conditions here at Austria. All of the qualifying sessions are dry, all of the race sessions are meant to be in the wet, so I think setups are going to be very, very compromised. We're running a lot of downforce on the car to hopefully give ourselves the best possible kind of setup we can ready for the Grand Prix. There's actually risk of thunderstorms on Sunday afternoon here in the Styrian Mountains, so yeah, we're going to be trying to battle our way, I think, through a whole lot of spray. The sprint race as well, that's meant to have changeable conditions, but I think we'll likely just be sat on a set of inters right the way through that one. But if we can qualify anywhere above the back row of the grid, I think I'd be rather happy here, so long as we don't end up going slower than Logan Sargent. Of course, had my best qualifying session of the year last weekend in Barcelona, but just a little bit of a mistake. So we make our way out in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. Max Verstappen, because he loves this venue, and I'm sure we'll be looking to try and get back up on the top step of the podium. A little way away from the apex there through that penultimate corner. Carry the speed though through the final run towards the line. P19 on the grid for the sprint. That's a little bit disappointing. But there we go then. Verstappen will storm to pole position ahead of both of those Ferraris. Fernando Alonso in 4th ahead of Sergio Perez. Pierre Gasly there getting inside the top 10 just ahead of Lando Norris. Bottas will end up in P14 there, so a very good job by our teammate. And where last weekend we were just a little bit quicker than a lot of the other backmarker cars, this time around we're just a little bit slower. Ahead of Logan Sargent though, that's important, so let's head down to the sprint. Well, I'm trying to think, I don't know if I've done any laps so far in this Sauber car in the intermediate conditions this season, but I guess we're about to find out. 8 laps ahead of us then here from Austria. I genuinely think anything can happen as we make our way through this race. It is meant to stop raining though, so hopefully that'll give us a bit of a helping hand later on in the event. But waiting then on the grid, those 5 red lights on the car, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go then. No hold at all as we try and put the power down. Logan Sargent getting off to a particularly good getaway. Esteban Ocon struggling on the other hand. We are going to try the outside line in towards someone there, but so difficult to kind of work out who will give you room and who won't. Ricardo gives me a little bit of a squeeze on the exit of that first turn there. Bottas as well, not able to capitalise on his decent grid position. So we make our way up in towards turn 2. Oh, easy does it, lads. Easy does it. Both Saubers down the inside of both V-carbs there. Up the top of the circuit as we try and get the power down up over the top of the hill there. And, well, we've gained a couple of spots then off the start potentially. Ricardo going to try and fight it back down the other side in towards turn 4 there. And I think we should just be able to hang on ahead of the Australian now. Oh, so difficult to try and put the power down on the exit of the corner there, and you can see Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas side by side just in front of me. Bottas will get just a little bit squeezed out. Thought about having a look down the inside of a teammate, but definitely was not going to be able to make that one happen. Up 2 places, though. We can't complain. I really don't think I've actually battled with Valtteri Bottas much at all this season. I know we've driven kind of near him and around him a lot, but it feels like either one of us every weekend has got a bit of a margin over the other one there. As well, Valtteri very, very early on the brakes up towards the top of the hill. So we will go around the outside of him there, and thought about having a look around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda as well. Quite able to make it happen, but we are moving up through the order. This sprint race is definitely just more about building up confidence already for the main event there as Tsunoda locks up. So we will say thank you very much, and up into 15th. Oh, Alex Albon really, really struggling to put the power down at the final couple of corners. There's a bit of battling going on as well. I think that must be Hülkenberg versus Pierre Gasly. Or just in front is Albon, very slow through turn 1. Genuinely was not trying to make the move there, but I guess we'll take it. And up into P14 end of this race, as I think, yeah, Gasly must have some issues on that Alpine car there, because both of the Haas cars trying to just go past him as we make our way up towards the top of the hill. Surely now Magnussen's going to get the power down around his outside as well, and we will try and make it 3 positions lost in 3 corners here, while Pierre Gasly trying to just go a little bit defensive. We will try and late brake around the outside of both he and Kevin Magnussen. Off the corner, we'll complete one. Can we get the power down against the other one there? Magnussen and I still side by side in towards the very next corner, and well, Gasly might have lost 3 places on this lap. I want to try and gain 3. Down the inside of Kevin Magnussen will go, and up into P12 then of this sprint. There's already a gap opening up ahead of Hülkenberg, but yeah, so far this is going very well. Well, they always say that the rain is the great equaliser in Formula 1. Car performance suddenly matters a whole lot less, as we now trying to challenge Nico Hülkenberg up at the top of the hill. 2 more laps after this one. Team definitely believe the rain is going to stop before the end of this Grand Prix, but I just don't think, you know, certainly in 2 laps we're going to be able to make back up the time to try and make that happen. That's one thing I kind of always wish with the sprint races. When you get changeable conditions, I remember we had one Austrian Grand Prix here that was absolutely fantastic. Just because we were the only car that pit and basically went from last to first in about 3 laps. It just doesn't happen very often. 1 more lap to go then here from the Styrian Mountains, at least in the sprint race, and Nico Hülkenberg still trying to defend from us. This has often been a good track for Haas, so if we could get the jump on them today, I'd be very, very happy here. Definitely no chance of scoring points, sadly, in this sprint, but maybe if we can latch on to the cars in front, there might be an opportunity as we head into the Grand Prix there, to the outside of Nico Hülkenberg. We're going to try and have a look up the top of the hill. Just make sure we give the Germans some room on the inside there, but hopefully now we'll get the power down on the exit of the corner. Round the outside of Hülkenberg will go, and up then into P11 of this sprint race. Pretty much ahead of every car we'd hope to be, but annoyingly behind every car that it will be a whole lot more difficult to try and get ahead of here. I can only assume, I mean, it's the Styrian Mountains, it's Max Verstappen, it's wet conditions. All the facts are pointing to the Dutchman probably being back on the top step of the podium for the first sprint race of the year, but you can just see the circuit. I mean, the rain is barely falling anymore, and already quite a prominent dry line beginning to form here, but happy with the pace we've showcased throughout this sprint race. Hopefully we can carry that momentum through into the GP proper, through the final corner. P11, I'm pretty happy with how we drove through the field. Well, there we go. Verstappen takes the sprint victory there, just under 10 minutes. 4 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc, who finishes P2. And again, both Spaniards right up there in 3rd and 4th. Lance Stroll meant that it was both McLarens that failed to score points in the sprint race. They really do seem to have lacked pace against some of their competitors there. And I mean, when you compare the fastest laps, we went quicker than Lando Norris in that sprint race today and looked comfortably faster than any of our rivals in the other back-market cars. So hopefully, as we head into real qualifying, if we can qualify a bit better than the back row, we should be able to fight. Right, let's go again then. 1 more opportunity to try and get this car a little bit higher up the order. Ready for the main event. 25 laps ahead of us though. And like I said, thunderstorms predicted at some point during that Grand Prix as well. Going to make life very, very difficult as we head into the main event. I guess my big issue here is still that this Sauber car likes to melt through its battery incredibly quickly. It's probably a combination of that and me just not being very good with kind of the standard baseline cars. inside this game there. Really nice line, though, up through turn 3. They're nice and committed and able to carry the speed. If you carry a little bit more speed through, you can often get away with kind of dragging the car on the exit because of the way kind of the camber works through those corners. Make sure I don't dip a wheel this time round in the gravel trap as we exit through sector 2 there. A little bit understeery on the exit of the corner, and we're going to drop a couple of places because of that. No battery left, though, to make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. Absolutely sent it through. That'll probably be a lap invalidation there. IRL Formula 1 will get away with it, though, in this game. P11 at the end of qualifying. I imagine we've beaten everybody we should have and lost to every car that beat me in the sprint. Well, there we go then. Lando Norris this time round takes P1 ahead of Max Verstappen. Ferrari will lock out the second row, and yeah, exactly like I expected. We've gone quicker than kind of all of the back markers and slower than all of the front runners. Bottas as well, though, up in P13, less than, well, 300ths of a second away from us. That is a really, really good effort by my teammate. And I mean, look at that. Me in P11 down to Daniel Ricciardo in 17th, covered by half a tenth of a second. Those are some ridiculously fine margins. The Alpines tied on a 105.064, but that's going to make things very interesting as we head into the race.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of this famous race. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. We have wet conditions today, 10 corners out there for the drivers, 7 to the right and 3 to the left, making up a total distance of 2.6 miles. It is very easy to run wide, especially in these wet conditions. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Perez, Stroll, Hamilton, Mr. Monaco, Albon, Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Gasly and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, heavy rain falling then once again here in the Styrian Hills. This time around, though, the team believe it's better to opt for the full wet tyre. I mean, full wets, though, surely we aren't going to bother boxing in this race. Surely we can try and make a no-stop happen this afternoon. That might really provide opportunity, especially if others do opt to make a pit stop as well then. But this one, I think, is going to be about survival today, so let's just get onto it. 5 red lights then waiting on the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix proper. Oh, much longer hold than in yesterday's sprint, but it's going to be lights out. And away we go. That Hamilton immediately trying to get a good launch. Oh, we thought about it. To the outside of the Aston Martin there in towards turn 1. Well, that opportunity will immediately get denied there, as there is no grip in these cars on cold tyres. This thing absolutely slip-sliding its way out of turn 1. We have held on to our position, though, which I guess we can be pretty happy with there. And like I said, we just got to try and hang with your top 10 cars at the start of this one. Again to the outside of Hamilton at the top of the hill. Can we try and get the power down this time round the outside of our fellow Brit there? I don't think, you know, we battled with Red Bulls last weekend. I certainly wouldn't be expecting to battle with Mercedes this weekend. And if an opportunity opens up for us, we're always going to try and take it. So, still wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton. Neither of us really want to give this up. If we can avoid it down in towards the end of sector 2. But Hamilton there finding the grip around the outside. No, he doesn't. Understeers out wide. As we've still got Perez and I believe Stroll just in front of me. Trying to dispute P8. But up inside the top 10 then we'll go on that one. That was a really critical move. But now the goal is just try and settle in. Get into a rhythm. Build up some confidence nice and early. Because, yeah, I think we're going to see a few more mistakes potentially from some of the other drivers there. A little bit of a wobble at that final corner. But, yeah, the big thing I think in this one is going to be managing those tyres as well. We can extend this stint, which, looking at the tyre at the end of lap 1, we definitely should be able to. That could open up huge opportunity. already then just trying to sit and do the numbers game in my head about what the tyres might look like by the end of the race. I think the rears are going to be the real question. They're definitely already, I mean, they're not racking up wear rapidly, but you kind of try and divide it out and think they might be up around 75% by the end of the afternoon. I guess the promising thing is, though, Lance Stroll, rather unsurprisingly, dropping away already from kind of your top 8 here. So if Hamilton and I can get by him quite quickly, there's definitely the opportunity for some good points this afternoon. Well, let's start seeing if we can push the envelope then with Lance Stroll trying to get a run up the hill in towards turn 3. The Canadian will try and swing defensive there. We will go so much later on the brakes. Well, there we go. I was just trying to see if we could start pressuring him for a move. I didn't actually think we'd just go straight past him there, but not going to complain. Up into P9 then once again. If we could get another back-to-back P9 finish, that would be great. No idea what's happened then, but we've got a VSC out in this Grand Prix. I'm hoping the Delta on the dash is the one I've got to be aiming for here. That's exactly what Mark's just said, but I got no idea for sure. I don't think we've ever had a VSC or safety car inside this series, so this is, yeah, certainly a little bit of a change as those conditions getting worse and worse.
Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
Make sure I keep... Oh, no, that delta. Why has it gone so far under?
Right, there's a big incident in front of you. Red flag.
Oh, red flag.
We'll update you in the pits. Everyone's okay. Okay, there's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have...
Well, I have no idea whether I've got a penalty then, or whether the VSC never came in and we've got a red flag. I've got no idea what the red flag has even been caused by either. So things getting very, very confusing in this race.
Nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
We've got through the worst of the weather then, so I could be really tempted to try and gamble on a set of intermediates. The team reckon they'd be about 30 seconds slower, but I'm not convinced that would be the case. So it reckons like that, or... Yeah, it reckons the lap times will be so much worse throughout the next few laps. I'm just kind of looking at that weather towards the end of the afternoon. You know what? We're in a Sauber car. Let's gamble it. Let's try and see whether we can do something a bit different in this race. 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out. And away we go yet again then. We're still in P9 in this Grand Prix. But look at that immediately. Finding a little bit of grip there down in towards turn 1. As long as we can just hang on through these first couple of laps and get the tyres up to temperature, I'd be rather happy. But immediately then, we've actually gained a spot and up into P8 of the race there. So I can only assume it must have been a car behind that has either had an accident or broken down. We're going 3 wide at the top of the hill. No idea who that is down or inside. I would guess Lance Stroll. Had to put money on it. But somehow we just about make it through that one with limited contact. Still wheel to wheel. With a McLaren car on or outside there, but immediately these intermediates, they feel pretty good actually. So yeah, we're actually able to get the power down off of the corners. This might have been a bit of a blind stroke of genius. I don't know whether it's just the fact that the red flag came out through the worst of the conditions, or whether the intermediates are just the better tyre to be on at the moment, but our pace looking really, really competitive at the moment as we're about to start lap 10. I mean, it is kind of dependent on whether the AI feel the need to box before the end of the afternoon. I haven't actually thought to look. How good is the wear on these tyres? Even better than on the full wet tyres that we were using earlier on. So let's really try and go on the attack then against Fernando Alonso here. Up the hill in towards turn 3. I mean, look again at the confidence we've got. Around the outside of Fernando, almost banging wheels at the top of the hill, but... we need to try and move our way up through the order, just in case the AI don't pit. I mean, already you're just watching that Mercedes of George Russell and even the McLaren in front of him of Lando Norris struggle to get the car tipped into the apexes where they need them to be. I mean, our pace now, pretty much what we were setting in the sprint race yesterday, and that was definitely intermediate conditions. Team now saying we're on the right tyre. So this is fantastic news for us. As to the outside then of George Russell, again, I'm sure he didn't expect to be battling a Sauber car in today's Grand Prix, but this gamble at the moment, how on earth the game thought we were going to be over 30 seconds slower, I will never know, but at the moment, yeah, it's really paying off. Oh, the Ferraris now really starting to battle with each other. Seems to be another incident that has gone on behind us. Maybe it's just the car breaking down. I could not tell you guys who that is.
start of this race.
What's going on? Another VSC. That scared the life out of me. Lando Norris just completely stopping, and well, now if the AI want to try and pit, that would work out fantastically for them. Why is everybody going so slow? Come on. Right, I cannot... If I've got a penalty, which I hope I don't, I cannot risk getting another one.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until we get the green flags. VSC ending. Wait for the greens. Okay, there's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car.
Right, come on then. I mean, look at how much Lando Norris is struggling to put the power down through that final corner. AI really, are not adjusting very well, as there is Tsunoda's stricken V-carb down at turn 1, but especially now with the Ferraris fighting, it's going to be an even greater opportunity to try and move forward here. Tucked up behind Lando Norris in the wheel tracks, to the outside again will go. Pretty much my favourite overtaking place so far this weekend, but again, can we pull off another one? Try and stop the oversteer on the exit. Why is Mark telling me that right now? I'm in a wheel-to-wheel battle, and Mark's banging on about the ERS. Right, well, we just got to keep trying to go for it lap after lap after lap here, because even if these intermediates are the quicker tyre, it might well still be that Max Verstappen's built up a margin that we will not be able to overcome there around the outside of Charles Leclerc at the top of the hill. I mean, it's definitely the right tyre, isn't it? There's not a chance in equal conditions we would be able to go around the outside of Ferrari, but again, I'm not going to complain about it. We won our first race on F1 24 in the My Team career mode with a great strategy call. Could we do the same thing in the Sauber career? I mean, the margin between the wet and the inter is just getting bigger and bigger every single lap now. Carlos Sainz, he's just got no confidence through those final couple of turns, to the outside, ready for turn 1. And you can just see again, even on the compromised line, he's just got nothing against us there. Around the outside and up into P2 of this GP.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 5.0 seconds. They're on old wets. Okay, their tyres are 7 laps old. And the time last lap, 1.3. Right, you're falling back by 1/10 a lap.
So we need half a second out of Max Verstappen each and every lap here. That is not impossible by the end of this one. We've just got to start looking after this compound. I'm honestly not sure at this stage how Verstappen is hanging on that set of wet tyres, but there we go. Fastest lap of the day. There is no one as quick as us right now on this circuit. What's the gap to Max?
Ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead, 5.3 seconds. They're on old wets. Their tyres are 9 laps old. Your last lap time, 1 minute, 0.4. This is excellent stuff. You're closing in by 7/10 a lap.
Well, the gap had gone up by battling with one of the Ferraris, but we did still take 7/10 out of him on that last lap. This is not guaranteed by the end. I need the rain to stop as soon as possible, because of course Verstappen will just be burning out those full wets at a rapid rate. 8 laps remaining after this one. Come on, there is a win on the cards.
Good pace, you're catching the car in front by about 1 second a lap.
Oh, that's what we want to hear. Verstappen, we are going 1 second a lap faster now. I can see him there up the road. He is really, really struggling. I honestly thought in these conditions, the wets, they'd be in even worse shape than they are, but I'm pretty certain so far the only person that's beaten Verstappen has been Charles Leclerc this season. That would be quite an exclusive club to join. Starting lap 22 or 25, then the gap to Verstappen is definitely still coming down, but you know, it's not guaranteed still that we're going to get to him by the end of the race. I'm trying to manage the ERS nicely, just using a sensible amount each and every lap, and in the right places as well, just to keep carving into his margin. Let's have a bit of an update.
And gap to the car in front, 2.8 seconds. They're on old wets. Time last lap, 1.3. And you're closing by 4/10 a lap. Keep it going.
Well, I really wish Mark would actually give us a lap time as to what Verstappen's been doing, because he just seems unable to at the moment. But yeah, that last lap we did not take enough out of the Dutchman. I need to just push a little bit more. Just trying to be really, really careful with the battery, of course. Getting to Verstappen is one thing, but then having enough to try and go past him is going to be a very, very different task. One more lap remaining after this one. We are still closing in on the Dutchman, but he just seems to be hanging on those those wet compounded tyres just about enough at the moment. Nobody else has even had a look in today. The Dutchman has dominated this one right towards the end of the afternoon. Oh, could there be one more twist in the tail, though? I don't think so. With a mistake like that, just a small snap that got worse and worse as we tried to keep my foot in it. But these tyres are going. Tyres are definitely starting to go. One more lap remaining, though, of the Austrian Grand Prix. And Max Verstappen, that little mistake there might just be enough for him. Reminiscent of Perez's mistake back at Sepang in 2012 when trying to fight Fernando Alonso for the win. Verstappen, of course, back then was only about 14 years old when that race went down. But, that's so frustrating because I really did think we might just get a look on this last lap. Those wet tyres, though, they will be getting worse and worse here. So I think Verstappen, though, is just going to be able to try and control things at the front of the order. Let's not forget, Sauber, they have only ever had one Formula 1 Grand Prix victory prior to now. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be doubling that margin today. The Dutchman definitely starting to slow down the pace on this last lap, just trying to bring that car home, but I don't think we're quite going to get there, and had we not lost a good second or so, maybe that's going to be the difference maker. So we try and put the power down. Max Verstappen, he has withheld the pressure today through the final corners. The Dutchman is going to win yet again this season. Don't bin it now. Get to the checkered flag, Matt, because this is going to be a huge result for Sauber nonetheless. A podium for the first time in, I think, about 10 years.
Out of the final corner for the final time, Max Verstappen takes the win.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, 33 points scored from this weekend there. But Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc and myself all with around 20 on the board. P2, it's gutting to some so close to Grand Prix victory today. But Max Verstappen, yeah, like I said, able to withstand the pressure towards the end of the afternoon and walk away with victory there. From 11th on the grid, second place is not bad going, ahead of both Ferraris. Any other major surprises? I don't really think so, looking down the order, but with that result, should mean that we're ahead of Lance Stroll in the World Championship as well. Just Yuki Tsunoda that failed to see the checkered flag. Having a look then at our World Championship standings, Verstappen now a 68-point lead at the top of the table, ahead of Carlos Sainz there, who has just 6 a buffer from Charles Leclerc. We move, though, up into 10th overall with twice the points of Lance Stroll, so that should pretty safely guarantee us the result ahead of Alpine in the Constructors as well, unless they can get a big result somewhere. 1 point now in it between Red Bull and Ferrari as we leave the Styrian Mountains. Mercedes closed the gap to McLaren as well, back down to just 18 points even, I should say. Aston Martin ahead of ourselves there, but 24 on the board. I think, yeah, we're looking pretty safe with that result. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very soon ready for the British Grand Prix.